What's up, YouTube? Today's the day. Today's the dreaded day. I have been scared for this day forever. Project Dahlia, the 62 Impala hardtop, is obviously looking pretty good. But today we're pulling out the wiring, all of the wiring, and we're installing an American Auto Wire kit. 600 some odd bucks right here. And we're gonna go through it step by step. Me and my buddy Ray, he's on his way over right now. And we are gonna throw all these wires into here. And it's gonna be lovely. And I'm just gonna walk you through everything as I do it. And anything I run into that might be a problem, anything that might be a pinch point, I'm gonna stop and spend a little time on to make sure that anyone who has an Impala between the years of 61 and 64 can use this video as a guideline. But
so you need to do your intro like, hey, this is Dre at Decent Garage. How you guys doing today? We're about to fuck up this Impala.
well, I already did it, but that'll work too. Okay, so you gotta lay them out, you know, that's important. Correct. Lay the shit out. That's what Reverend Jenkins told me.
Get an idea what
And he also said so each bag we open, he said the first thing we have to do is take the wire out and stretch it all out, lay it out.
Yes.
Because he's like, it's wrapped tighter. I forget what he said, but he said something that was like either probably a little bit racist or like,
nah,
you know what I'm saying?
not the Reverend.
But like,
I like how step 2 is start installing K.
yeah,
Like it's that easy. Okay.
it is.
Oh, yeah, I believe it.
Okay, one thing it told me to do is to make a template for the firewall, because you actually have to cut the firewall, which is terrifying. But so I'm gonna make a template, and it's on adhesive backed paper, which is kind of good because of how I'm gonna do it. And it kind of has a suggestion on it. I think also they make it like this so that you can stick it on the directly on the firewall, but I'm gonna do it like this just so it's a little stiffer, I guess. But so I want to do it on a piece of cardboard. And also something I'm gonna do is mark which way is up. So that's important. And then using a razor blade, I'm gonna cut out the white section. Okay, just like that. The white section is cut out along the edges. And now I'm just gonna cut it a few more times so I can punch this out. And then I have a nice template I can easily line up. Okay, so there we go. This is the template we're gonna use, and you just mount this to where the existing hole is. I'll show you guys in a second. And then you drill these holes out, and then you actually cut this. I'm probably just gonna mark it with a Sharpie, and then cut it with a Dremel and hope for the best. Another step that isn't mentioned in installing wiring, but I think is very important, pulling the seat out. Taking out the front seat in this car gives you a ton more room to get underneath the dash and work. And I mean, no one likes wiring, and if you do, you're lying or you're crazy. So I'm gonna go ahead and pop this seat out right now. All you need is a 1/2-inch wrench. Okay, we're underneath the dash. The seat has been removed. You can see, I'm trying to find something metal to hang my light on. You can see the fuse box. There is a fuse up here. Or not a fuse, there's a bolt up here, right here, holding it in. And there's one right here behind the bottom left fuse. You have to pull these out and then pull the fuse box out. So we're gonna do that now. Okay, we're underneath, still in here. Look, we got the fuse panel off, hanging. and we're just tracing wires. We cut right here. These are the high beam switch wires. We cut it. We pulled out the side panel, really easy, just Phillips head screws, and pulled the carpet back so that we can expose right here the high beam switch, which we're going to replace. Even though this one looks new, we have one. But and here's the wiring that is, we just snipped right here. And then we have to get the clip off in here. If you can see, this light's a little bright actually, which is such a first world problem. Or look, I'll just put this one down here just so you can see. There's if you look right there, this is for the e-brake switch, and we just need to we just need to get that off using a pick, pressing the tab, because the tab is actually on the firewall side, not the cabin side. It's different. So here's the tab. You see it with my spooky bottom lighting. Oh, here's the tab. Yeah, so it's mounted like this. So you got to reach in there with a pick and press on the little piece. It comes out pretty easily though. It just slides up in there. You just pull it out. But this is like, you know, the realest. Oh yeah, please, could you? Could you, buddy? Here. Okay, so I don't even know if this is necessarily pertinent, but it's terrifying, so we're doing it anyway. Just cutting this old fuse box out because we're not going to reuse any of this stuff. It's just really crazy to think that we're digging into a car this deep. It's scary, but at the same time, all you really need is to follow these wire leads when you're installing the new stuff. So it's not really that important. And this thing is in the way heavily right now. So moving it out is probably going to ease a bunch of things that you're going to be doing without this big box dangling in the way, like especially when you're trying to line up this template and cut your new hole for your new fuse box. Yeah, look. Ta-da. Yeah, so just pull all this shit out and you'll be good. Can you see it? Does it look beautiful? Mm-hmm. Okay, we're drilling holes. We're going to do it. We're going to drill into this here Impala. Okay, that's where we're drilling with this drill. Ray, you got room? Can you see? Just going to line up right here on this. Punch it through the cardboard.
There's one.
Uno! We drilled a hole in the car. Classic car. Drill the hole in it.
You want to see your dad cry? Show him this video.
Show him your video. Tell him we're drunk. I'm just kidding, we're not drunk. Not yet. We'll be drunk in an hour when we start the wiring.
Yeah, we start the wiring.
We start soldering. All right. So Ray's on the inside. Look how close we got to that build plate. Oh my gosh, it's right on it. But Ray's on the inside. He's just leading these screws through a little. Yep, you're good. And then we're gonna take the template, pop it on here. Just get a rough idea of where this is gonna go. Now, I'm actually gonna put some tape down first before I cut this. All right, so there it is. That's the template. That's where we're cutting to install the new fuse plate. And Ray installed a little blast guard of cardboard down there that makes it so the sparks, when they come through, they're waterfall over, so they don't fall behind the carpet. So he said if there's a fire, it's where we can see it and put it out instead of where we can't. For a heart attack. It worked. We're cutting a hole. Ray, you want to grab this piece? You see it?
Is it hot?
No, it's fine. Grab it.
Ooh, ooh. So cold.
It's actually freezing. It could be. All right, yeah, all I'm doing is like chunking this off to get it as close to the rounded corners as I can, you know?
Yep. And then you're gonna slice it.
Dice it,
and
chop it,
bring it out.
Ripped out. Okay, so we got this hole drilled right there. So now we're going to do a little finishing work in the corners. Not really finishing, but just trying to get it nice and rounded up to where the template was. And then we're gonna try fitting the fuse box through. And it says you might need some minor adjustments, which means we're gonna have to cut it larger. I'm just sure of it. I just know it for some reason.
Well, when I'm laying down, it doesn't work so well.
Because you think on your feet?
On how to put a wiring harness in, not makeup, dude. Okay, that's tomorrow's video.
Tomorrow we're doing makeup. Tomorrow we're gonna teach everyone out there how to make themselves look like a cat. Tell them, Santos. Yeah. Tell them.
You're the only one.
Make them look like a.
You're using the only makeup one.
Make them look like a kitty cat. Okay. Okay. Also, very important lesson learned. This hole does not need to be this big, and it actually is kind of unsightly on the top right there. But these guide lines right here make it so you have to. But if I could do this again, I would shave these off from the top right and bottom left corners. And then, I mean, obviously you have to use a template for the drill holes for these, but then I would cut a new template around this to make it considerably smaller, especially on the top. You could probably cut, you know, I mean, almost a ½ inch off of the top of this thing, and you wouldn't have this big unsightly foam piece sticking through. I mean, it's not gonna be the end of the world, but you know, just one thing. All right, if you can see right here, we have our first casualty in the 8 million bulbs that are in the dashboard. I was disconnecting this. You just gotta disconnect everything as you come through here. So I'm up in here on the dashboard, disconnecting all the bulbs from the back of the gauge cluster, and I broke one. And the glass fell in my ear. Oh! On my expert wire tracing, I single-handedly, without any help from Ray whatsoever, found this wire. Look, it's all torched. I don't know if you can tell on camera, but it is like, and so this wire harness was updated before by people who went through and restored this car. I'm using that term as loosely as humanly fucking possible, but so yeah, so that's one of the reasons for going through and doing this. But she does it, and as you're saying it, you're like, look at this. You guys thought I was kidding? Oh, I can't say anything. I got this flashlight. Oh. Look at Ray going to work, pulling off this mount. Look at that cardboard.
Jeez.
Cardboard.
Wow. It's top of the line. It's got 4 staples in this end.
Yeah, I got 6 staples over here. No big deal. But you know, like, we can easily, right? We can figure out something for this.
Yeah.
And just mount that up there. Now that I know I can just pull that out and I don't have to like cry about like, oh my God, I ripped my dashboard out. That's which is what I've always stressed about. Because I hate that this thing's down here.
Is your glove box locked?
No, it's just, 62 Impala glove compartments all open the same. You have to press the button and pull with the corner right here. Every single one of them.
Gotcha.
My old 62 is like that. My buddy's 62 is like that. Yeah, just like that. Opens right up.
Cool.
And then watch out. This is that's premium cardboard. All right, so now back to the task at hand. Getting this goddamned harness out. Here we go. Beep, beep. All right, so we're making progress. On the back of this gauge cluster, there are quite a few tiny bulbs. Just warning you, you're gonna have to watch out for that. And as we're pulling them out, when we get this thing out, we'll count them. But just looking right now, like, I can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
It was on.
Here is the whole harness out of the dash. 13 bulbs total. 13. Here's where we are. We have decided that the only way that we're going to do this is to take this part. Obviously, the dashboard of these cars is welded in, so it doesn't come out. But we can take this panel off right here, and then we can pull the instrument cluster out, and that is going to free up a lot of space. And for getting all those little bulbs and shit back in, this is the move. Basically, that's what we're gonna say. This is the move. But so what we have to do, what we did, is we drop the steering wheel down from here. There's one clip. It's like this. This is it. And it clips up like this on the inside. And you just take it's a 1/2 inch bolt. You just take that bad boy out. And then you pull the clip off. This whole jam drops, as you can see. And then the light switch has a button on it. On the bottom here, I'll come show you. I have the original switch right here. The button's right here, so you can reach in and press the button and pull this rod out. And then you unscrew this. Yeah, so this is out, unscrew this, blah, blah, it's out. These gauges have nuts on the back. That's what they're 3/8. That's what Ray's doing right now. One on the back of each, right?
Yes.
The middle one just pops out. The clock just pops out. And I'm not sure why, but that's how it works. I think it's just because you can't get to it with the instrument cluster. I can't tell you how to take the instrument cluster out yet because we haven't done it. The lighter, the back housing just unscrews, so you just reach in there and unscrew it if you're a man, and you can do it. Ray had to have me do it because he just got a manicure today or something. The knobs pop off on the radio, and then it has the little flat nuts on it that you undo, and then that's loose. So that's it. And that's how you get this panel off. And once we get that panel off, we'll be able to attack the instrument cluster next. And we'll pull that forward, and all should be right in the world. We'll be able to continue on with this excitingly fantastic electrical wiring kit. Like, truthfully, nothing has been super complex or complicated with this install so far. It's just been a bitch. I mean, you're working with wires underneath the dashboard. Like, I can't wait till we do the engine bay part, because that part's going to be, I mean, especially, this is why they make you do it in this order. It doesn't have to be done in any particular order. They make you do it in this order. So by the time you get to the rear and by the time you do the engine bay, you're like so thankful that you have, you know, space to breathe, room to work, that you don't care. And it's because under this dashboard is a nightmare. But, I mean, fuck, these cars are pretty, aren't they? It's just a pretty damn car. 3 hours later. Okay, so basically, what size is it on the bottom?
That one is a 7/16.
Okay, so there are 4 bolts holding on the instrument cluster. One here, one up on this side, and one on that side of it. 7/16. And then when they're disconnected, you can see it comes out through the back. We actually had to take the switch box and lower it down because everything's in the way. Okay, so as you can see, we have everything out of the dash. Apparently the cluster won't fit out this way, so we got to take it out the long way, which means the stereo had to come out, the ashtray had to come out. All easy stuff to pop out, but hey, look at the cluster. It's moving around. Oh, I'm crushing. Okay, look, cluster out. It came out here through the glove compartment. Looks good. What do you got? What's on the back? Anything?
This is a bitch to get around that little bracket in there, so you just gotta clock it right and move it.
So back in the day,
take the ashtray out.
back in the day, my first experience inside of a 62 Impala was when I stole my dad's when he was out of town and took this girl who lived down the street named Jen on a cruise, right? I was 15 at the time, no license, and my dad left me the keys to the Impala because he was going to be gone for a month. You know, started up every other day, you know?
Oh, okay.
Nice.
Right, yeah.
Mid-90s, we're talking, right?
Yeah.
So I remember I weaseled my way under the dashboard to this right here and unscrewed it and popped it off because it doesn't roll the miles over,
Yeah.
you know? I marked the spots in the parking lot where you had it in the back of the house with some crushed aluminum cans.
Yeah.
Had to repark it 6 times. But listen, he never found out about that, right? I got away, clean it, and then...
Yeah, right.
And then 4 years later, well, 3 years later, because I was 18, I guess I was 17 because I was still in high school. But I was a senior in high school, and my dad was at a car show one weekend. And he comes home from the car show, and he's like, "You have anything you want to tell me?" And I'm thinking of all the things I could possibly have to tell him, you know? And I'm like, "No, nothing. I'm a fucking angel," you know? So apparently Jen, that girl who I took on a cruise, sees the car at a car show, says to my dad, or she says to her boyfriend, the guy she's dating then, said, "Oh my God, I love this car. It drives so smooth. It's got 2 10-inch subwoofers in the trunk.
New things about
blah, blah, blah."
it.
Yeah, right? Speedometer doesn't work. It's the only thing that's bad about it.
Wonder why.
You know? I was like, fuck. So it was a week before prom. I was going to take it to prom.
No.
Yeah, kibosh. But yeah, so that was my, that's what I think about. When I see this, that's the first thing I thought of. Because trying to get that on the day my dad was coming back was a panic. And I was like I was just like, you know, just like screwing it like that. But yeah.
That's about how tight it was on there too. Finger tight.
Yeah. One thing we didn't show in this dash, because we're removing everything, American Auto Wear kit comes with a new ignition switch in the back. So you got to take the ignition out. Now, to get the ignition out, you need the key, right? We already started loosening it in the back a little, but you just turn it to all the way to the accessory position to the left, counterclockwise or anti-clockwise if you're British or something. But here, look, I don't know how I can... Here, can you take this, Ray, and film it? And if you look up here, there's 2 little holes for detention pins. Press, one of them will be spring loaded, and when you press in, you'll feel like it's springy in there. That's the one you have to press, and then you'll hear it click like that, and then this comes out nice and easy. And then you just unscrew the bezel, and the ignition switch will fall out of the back. In a turn of events, Ray and I are looking at this instrument cluster, and we're both talking about how awful it is. Where did it go? What'd you do with the instrument cluster?
It's in there in the center.
Oh yeah, I see it. Okay, let's go have a look at this thing. So we're looking at this instrument cluster, and we're looking at all the bulbs. And the kit comes with new wires. You got to wire up and solder for each and every one of the bulb holes, the million bulbs it has on the back of this thing. And it has all the, I don't know if you can read, it says green, brown, blue, black, blue tan, dark blue. So it tells you how to organize it, wire it back up pretty easily. And then I asked Ray, I was like, "Ray, how do I wire this clock up? It'd be nice to have a working clock in one of these." No one has a working clock.
What?
Just telling stories about our day. And I was like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm getting the Dakota Digital VHX kit. I've wanted it. No better time than now. Look, why wouldn't I get it now? We don't even have to do anything extra. We can just do what we're already doing and get the sumbitch in there. So that's what I'm doing. So for the meantime, we're kind of at a standstill, right?
Yeah.
So until we get the VHX kit, we're at a standstill. I'm also not one of those people who takes a million years to do something. So like, it'll be here in 3 days, max.
It'll be here.
But in the meantime, because our plan was to get the interior, the cabin wiring, I mean, as close as we could to completely disassembled. And I'm pretty sure we're good, right?
I would say we're where we need to be.
It's like disassembled.
It's definitely disassembled.
But I mean, I don't think there's anything else we need to disassemble, right? Like everything's come out. We took out, we have the headlight switch out, ignition switch out, the whole gauge clusters out, all the three individual gauges are out, ashtrays out. We made a plan for how I'm gonna mount my stereo when we reinstall it so it's not underneath the dashboard. We're gonna put it in the dashboard.
But you have to explain you have 2 stereos.
Oh, yeah, I have 2 stereos. So I have a stereo for like music and Bluetooth and all that stuff that's aftermarket. And I have a stereo that fits in the OEM stereo spot that is wired up to 2 3.5s in the dash. So I can turn on my old stereo and like listen to the AM radio, you know? You gotta,
that's important.
I like to keep it looking OEM, you know, the car like, I mean, look, it looks OEM. That was my whole move here. It's OEM. But, so, because we're at kind of a standstill and we have everything pulled out of the interior, like almost at a nightmarish look. If you like really look in here, it looks terrifying right now. There's just shit everywhere. But believe it or not, this is organized. We got it all figured out. We have it all under control. So, because we have it all under control and all figured out, we're going to... What are we going to do? The trunk? No, we're going to do the headlights.
Fuck up the engine bay.
Okay, so yeah. So instead of calling it quits on the day, we are going to do some engine stuff. What are we going to do? The headlights? Or we're going to do not the engine. We're just going to run the headlight kit because...
Why not?
Because why not? We might as well just knock a little something else out for day one. But just so people have a realistic time frame, we've been at it a few hours. I feel like a lot of it is us just really trying to take our time. You know, if we were doing this in like a hoopty that was all beat up, you know, there's some things you can kind of wrench and pull on, but you don't want to mess up a car that's nice. You don't want to scratch it getting in and out.
Something that's been restored already?
Yeah, something that's already been restored. Yeah. Oh, look. Okay, so Operation Rewire the Impala. Going as scheduled. Or not as scheduled.
Yeah.
Who knows?
It might.
Who knows?
We're not on schedule, so yeah.
So we're pulling wires out. I took this off so we had easier access to a turn signal so I could get a ground out that was kind of in a funky spot. I've taken my headlights off a million times. I've already installed Vision LED Kits headlights, which are amazing. Big shout out to visionledkits.com. That dude hooks it up for real. And then I took them apart again to put these sexy little eyebrows on, which I love. But, so Ray just pulled out. Where'd it go? Oh. The old, what is this, a resistor? Look at this bad boy. This is a relay. This is a real ass relay. So this was in the car. Right here. And there's another little guy underneath. Right? That's coming out too, right?
That's coming out also.
And that's all archaic technology that isn't going to be used in the ReWire, which actually works out nicely because I have this fancy radiator fluid catch, but I haven't had a spot to mount it yet. But look where that came out. Boom.
Yep. Oh, perfect.
Yeah, that's going to be great. And look, the puke hose is right there.
Yeah, it goes perfect.
Superstar status. Leave it. All right. Let's check in. Ray, how's it going?
It's going well. I'm using these fancy crimpers.
Fancy. We got a crimper. It sucked. But, so, we made the pieces for the headlights. It's actually really easy. It's just a little tedious, especially if you want it to be done very meticulous, which you should be if you're going through your car like this. But, you know, they all look like this. Nice and clean, pretty. And then these all clip into these buckets like this. And those obviously get installed in your car and click into the headlights. And since I have new headlights, that's nice. This part of the harness will hook up with the turn signals. And then we're going to wrap it up so it looks real nice. And then we're done for the day. And then you can go eat.
Yay.
And your wife can
go
beat
spend
you.
time with my kid and wife.
Your wife will beat you.
Probably.
That's good.